Welcome back. Now here we see that we've encrypted the password using the crypt method, passing in the password from the input field and the salt variable, which we use in storing this round salt pass from the database. Now what we want to do is, based on the activation key from the URL, we want to check if the key actually does exist in the database. So we create a query. We say SQL, MySQLi query. We pass in the connection and we pass in the query statement. So we say select all from sign up where activation underscore key is equal to the key from the URL. So we check, we select the data of the user from the sign up table where the activation key is equal to the activation key in the URL. Then we store the norm using, or we get the number of rows using the MySQLi norm rows if it only meets this criteria. So say MySQLi underscore norm underscore rows, which takes in the SQL. Now the next thing we want to do is we want to make sure that the input field is not empty. So if the input field is not empty, then we are going to submit the form. So see, if empty, then we are going to use the pass underscore word if it's not empty. Then after which we're going to use this count variable to check if it returns the value greater than 0, or if it returns 1, then we should continue with the process. So if count is equal to 1, if count is equal to 1, that if it does exist, the next thing we need to do is we need to update or to validate the password. We don't want the user to just input a password. So we go to our insert.php where we validated the password. We copy the password validation. We copy, then we go back to our reset pass, then we paste the code in there. So what we have here now is this password validation. We can change this to just error. So the password validation must be between 7 and 15, at least one lowercase, one uppercase, and at least a digit, as we have it here. So this will only occur if the count is equal to 1. That means the number being retrieved or returned here is 1. So if this validation fails, we display this error. Else, if it does not fail, we are going to update the database or the password in the database. So see, update SQL. We write the update statement which says update sign up, then set password, which we have in the sign up table, equal to the password we are passing. And in this case we are using this password because it is the encrypted password. So we place in there, and we also need to put the where condition, which is where activation underscore key is equal to the key. Then the next thing is we update, or we pass the query. See, updates query, which is going to use MySQLi underscore query. Then it's going to take the connection and also the update underscore SQL. Now we've sent this statement. Now if it is successful, just like we did in the forgot password, we go to our forgot underscore password. Here we are checking if the update is successful. Or let's check the activate to see. Okay, inside the activate.php. Now, if the update query is successful, so we copy this. If it's successful, we just show the user a message. Now, in this case, we are going to say your password reset is successful. So if the query is successful, we show the user this message that says your password reset is successful. So we can change this to alert success. Then the next thing we need to do is we check if this count variable returns anything less than 1. Then we are going to also return or display an error to the user. So we say else, we can copy this. We say to the user, no data was found. No data found. Here is going to be alert danger. And we can just change this to fail updates. So if it returns a value less than 1, then we display this message. Also, the last thing we need to do is if the user tries to submit an empty form, here we are checking where all this logic is being performed only if the input form or input field is not empty. But if it's empty, the user tries to submit an empty form, then we are going to display an error message that says password field cannot be empty. Cannot be empty. And we can change this one to empty update. So this is how we write the update statements and add also the validations to it. So if it's not empty, we perform this. If it's empty, we display this message to the user. If the query is successful, we show that your password reset is successful. Else, we just show no data found. So in the next video, we continue with this.